heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, quite a number of things have happened. We had Deku. And Deku, him and the female Shinso, they snuck into an event. There was a charity event for heroes, and they were raising money for a good cause. Now, Deku and Shinso, they both went in here, and they were actually in the public eye. Many people, they didn't pay attention to them. They were more focused on the event. After Deku took down the pro, the two tried to blend in as guests, and they actually had a little bit of fun. Now, Deku, he was trying to readjust his mind, shuffle some things around, and understand where he's at mentally. I mean, seriously, everything in his head right now, it doesn't feel right. I mean, he knows that he's been trained to do things, and he's been trained to take out rogue heroes. But there's an issue with that. He didn't see the value of a human life. He held it in his hands, and the only thing he was worried about is the public's reaction to the death of the pro. That's all he cared about. And it worried him. Has he actually become this deranged? I mean, the first time he saw a person die, he bawled his eyes out. He cried. And he wasn't even up close and personal. And yet nowadays, he takes life very close and very personal. However, that's just the thing. Deku stole the man's quirk. And right now, he does go back to the association, and they actually are very happy with this. Now, currently Deku does believe that this quirk could be a part of the bigger picture. And right now, Deku, he does believe that with this quirk, him and Shinso can probably get away. It just needs some planning. And maybe another guest of theirs can help them. Now, we do actually currently have inside the training hall, where Ochako, she currently is doing some boxing. Her smashing into a punching bag, as right now she actually is thinking about what to do. Her last mission seemed okay. It seemed fine. And things they went to be expected. The target went missing, quote unquote, and everything was proceeding as planned. Now, Ochako, she actually is a bit more confused about something though. Currently there might be her next mission. And the idea that they need to take this target alive. I mean, they usually go for extermination. Never capture and return missions. Now, Ochako does currently think that. And right now there actually is Deku, who he does go to bring his hand up and grab onto her shoulder. Him tapping once as Ochako does go to slightly jump. Her about to spin around as Deku does tell her to not do that. What are you doing in here? I didn't even hear you sneak up on me. Exactly. I'm using a quirk. Don't turn. Keep punching. Now, Ochako does go to turn and punch the bag. Her seeing that Deku, he really isn't there behind her. And right now Ochako, she actually is doing it lightly. Her punches, they do look to have effort behind them. But right now Deku does go to Todoroki talk, whispering to her. Right now he does want to know, if they try to break out of here, does she want to go with them? Oh, what? Answer me honestly. Now, Ochako, she is brainwashed. And she actually started to give Deku the honest answer. Yes. She wants to get the hell out of here. She wants to go home and see her family. She wants to try and find them. See if they're still alive. She doesn't believe what Deku said. It can't be possible. It can't be right. If it is, then she wants to burn this place to the ground. Now, Deku, he does inform Ochako. He gets it. Her actually going to snap back to reality after she actually does get unbrainwashed by Deku. Her turning and looking around. As she actually starts to grit her teeth, and she is angry. She was brainwashed. She was fucking brainwashed again. But then there's the fact that what he said. They want to get out of here. They. Now, there currently is over with the female Shinso, who she currently is sitting down in her room and drawing a few things on a canvas. And right after there actually is a knock on her door, she does go to turn and go to stand up, opening the door as Deku just walk inside and start to talk to her privately. The door closing behind him as she actually does hear what Deku does say. Right now things they're a bit more complicated. Right now things are easy though. Ochako does want to leave. All that really does leave is his involvement. And well, hers. Now, Ochako, she doesn't fully understand everything yet. Deku and Shinso have been making this plan for a long, long time. And right now, Deku, he does have a plan. Right now what they're going to do is they're going to go outside the security office and Deku is going to break in. Once he does so, he is going to disable and take over the entire security grid. Put the feedback loop, or turn on the security cameras to a feedback loop of yesterday, and overlay the footage of the last couple days randomly. Now, basically what this will do is by the time anybody does suspect something is up, they might be too late. People can directly look into the footage at this place, and while they can't exactly see everything, they'll see what's been put in front of them, and that will be all they do see. Deku can buy them time. When the Hero Association does find out that they've gone missing though, that's when things might get worse. They'll try to hunt them down. And right now we do actually currently have Deku. Deku, he does sit outside the security office. And right now whenever somebody does come to directly turn and walk out of it, Deku does directly go to bring his hands up. Him running into them, as he actually tries to at least talk about how he's sorry. Him going to directly turn and wait for the person to say something. Them shouting at him, as the moment they do, they're brainwashed. Shinso running up, and directly going to grab at the man's security card. Her going to directly turn and bring her hand out to stop the door from closing. And right now there actually is where Shinso, she does look inside. The man who was sitting down at the monitor, he turned his head. And now he tried to ask what was going on. To which she responded, nothing. And the man got brainwashed. Now, there actually was where the two, well, they got to work. Deku, he ran over. And right now he does go to bring his hands up, as his Technopath ability, he does activate it. And right now Deku, he does put his hands down, directly onto the keyboard, and look up. His eyes starting to somewhat glow, and fill with numbers. As Shinso does ask him what he's doing back there. Let me focus. This is harder than you think. Is it? Shut up. Now, Deku, he does pull back his hands. Okay, I think that bought us enough time. Security grid has been closed down. Everything's okay. We can leave, but there might be one issue. What is it? Deku bring his hand up. And right now he actually is going to pull behind the back of his ear. Him bringing it up and going to somewhat manipulate his fingers. And Shinso, she does see talents. As Deku does tell her. Him going to somewhat shapeshift his ear and pull something out of his ear. That right now they have trackers. Deku dropping his onto the ground. They need to get it out. And Deku, he's going to need to apologize for this. Now, Shinso, she actually does say, okay. And she is brainwashed. And right now Deku, he does go walk over to her and go just want to turn her head. as he has Godoki bring his hand up and try to find her tracker. Now, there actually is after Deku does get it out. And right now, there actually is Ochako. Ochako does see one of the security guards pause in the hallway. And right now the base, it's quiet. Now, whenever Deku does immediately come running up to her, he does tell her he's going to take out her tracker. What do you mean? Listen, no time to explain. Deku grabbing her by her chin, turning her head as she goes to Deku bring her hand up and tell Deku to stop. As Shinsho does tell him, her having blood running down the side of her head, that right now they need to get it out. Otherwise, they'll be found and people will find them. Now, and Ochako, she actually stared at Shinsho, hurling back towards Deku, as Deku does have a serious look on his face. Him telling her that he's going to try and make this easy. So, don't try to fight it. It'll hurt more. Now, she does go to Deku agree. And right now Deku, he does go to shapeshift his hand. And he actually does go to Deku turn it into a piece of, well, metal. Now, Deku, he does slice open a part of her ear before reaching inside and pulling out the tracker. Him actually going to Deku turn and throw it to the ground. As their axes or somebody, they do turn the corner. And right at the moment they do see Deku staying there with a bloody hand, they're a bit surprised and confused. Them running forwards and telling them to break it up, since they think that they just got into a fight. Now, the man is going to reach down for his walkie-talkie, and there actually is Deku. Deku, he immediately does go to bring his hand up, and right now he does use his marksman ability with his rock ability, or, well, earth bullet. Now, there actually is where a piece of rock does come shooting out from the ground, a piece of concrete, and does fly Toki into and smash the guy into his right eye. The man actually going to somewhat stand there for a second, as he does go to slump forwards, him smashing and hitting onto the ground. Now, Deku, he does start to walk over, him immediately going to bend down and grab the walkie-talkie, him grabbing the weapon, and then actually going to grab the handgun, him turning to the two and asking them if they're just going to stand there. Deku going to toss a weapon towards somebody, and Ochako, she actually is the one to catch the pistol. As Deku, he actually tell them, stay behind him copying the metal of the gun. Now, currently the security guards here, they're trying to understand what the hell just happened. Many people within this base, they've lost contact. They can't reach anybody at security. They can't reach the two people who are by security. And right now, it doesn't look good. They're able to reach everybody else. But that's another problem. As right now, their actions were gunfire to sort of go through the entire base. And more people do seem to be lost. Now, there currently actually is Deku. As Deku, he's standing there walking down the corridor with a rifle in his hand. And right now, somebody does come to run around the corner and Deku stare at Deku. Deku bringing the gun up with one hand and firing one bullet. The bullet whisking through the air and Deku smashing into the man's knee. The man actually going to fall forwards and hitting the ground on his bad leg. Him actually going to wince in pain and scream as he actually is going to turn and bring up his weapon. Deku immediately grabbing the barrel of it as the man does unload a full auto set of rounds into Deku. Now, Deku immediately does go to grab the gun, him going to pull it out of the man's hand before turning and smashing the man across the head. And right now Deku, he used all of his strength in that punch. And the man, yeah. Deku just watched the man turn into red mist and paint the wall. Now, Deku, he immediately does somewhat drop the weapon, him bringing up his own gun and talking about how they really fucking underestimated them, didn't they? Now, Deku, he actually does go to turn and give the gun over to Shinsho, talking about how he wants to have a little bit of fun. And right now the two are both kind of confused. As Deku, he immediately does go to turn his body back into metal and enlarge his hands, And right now the two do watch. Deku's hands do get larger, but then they go to turn flat, and his fingers they do morph together, and then oh, them looking. As right now Deku he just formed two different maces out of his arms, and right now Deku he actually take off running. Now, right now the entire base they do hear it. They can hear Deku coming from a mile away. He's not being subtle, and right now, he is doing one simple thing. He's letting out some rage. Him smashing into walls to alert his location. And right now people, they're surprised when they do find him. As whenever they do find Deku, Deku, he does go to directly bring up his hands. And he does rush towards them. Them all very surprised as whenever Deku does go to run into them, he does smash them across the face or into the body with the mace. Them hitting into the walls, as right now Deku, he does look at many of them. Him actually going to Doki turn and form his hand back to normal. As there actually is our man, he's currently hiding behind cover. And he's talking to his friend about exactly what type of crazy shit they're doing here. And the man currently he's trying to go through many channels, trying to find out where the other two might be. Since if this is just one of them, where the hell are those two? Now, the man actually is going to bring up his hand. And right now he actually hears something shoot past him and ricochet. Him confused, as there actually is the man who was sitting at the other side of the wall. He was going to reload his rifle. And right now that bullet just ricocheted off the wall and bounced into his fucking hand. Him actually staring down at his hand and screaming out. And the guy turning and looking towards his friend. As right now there actually is Deku. Deku, he immediately does go to run forwards. And right after screeching out like a bat, the men they do hear him. Now, Deku, he knows their exact location. And that does make this a little bit easier. Deku aiming towards the wall and firing at a sign. And right now the sign, it actually is going to directly dent as Deku shot at it. The bullet not ricocheting as Deku does look again. Him firing more and more, and right now the bullets, they're not doing what he wanted them to. Now, Deku is slightly annoyed. Him turning his wrist a bit and firing again. And right now this shot does go to ricochet. And Deku does watch. The bullet ricochets directly off of the sign. It going to directly move backwards and smash down into the guy's leg. The guy is screaming out as Deku does shout out to them that he's gonna fucking murder all of them. Now, the guy immediately does look towards his friend. The guy going to get back up and grab his friend, talking about how he'll run, he'll shoot. Now, the guy went to agree. And right now the two, they do try to outrun Deku. They know how powerful and dangerous he is. And that idea, it doesn't sound good. Now, there actually is over Shinso and Ochako. The two are working together. And right now, thanks to their training, they're taking on the soldiers. Now, the guards here, they're alarmed. They're trying to say a few things. They're trying to talk. They're trying to do what they can. And that's a problem. As right now, whenever one person does go someone shout something out, the other person, they're confused, asking for the person to say that again. As they immediately go to freeze, the person staying next to them, actually hearing the words in their own voice, say to turn to his right and pull the trigger. The man actually going to turn and fire off into his friends. And right now, they're actually over Shinsho just come walking around the corner with a voice modulator. And right now, she does stand there. Her actually going to tell the man to face her. Him turning and doing so. Her bringing the gun up and pulling the trigger, shooting into his head. And Ochako does ask, did she really think that was necessary? Yes, I did. So, question. You want to burn this place down? Yes. Now, the two are currently heading to a location. And right now, they're going to make sure they take it down. This place has been hell, so it should probably burn like hell. Now, there actually is Deku. Deku, he is currently losing his fucking marbles and having fun. As right now he does walk down a corridor, and he does look directly at the last remaining guard. Him directly gonna bring his hand down and grab onto them. Him grabbing onto their neck and pulling them up and smashing them into the wall. As right now Deku, his eyes are glowing. They're pouring with energy. And he looks pissed. He's massive and Jesus Christ, what the fuck is he supposed to be? Now, Deku does ask the man, how many of them were here? And where happens to be that committee member piece of shit? Now, the man is trying to talk Deku down, and informing him that he needs to stand down. And Deku is going to laugh at the man, talking about how if he wanted to stay calm, he would have not murdered all of his guys. If he wanted to stay calm, he wouldn't have done this. Deku bring up his hand, and stabbing the man directly into the leg. The man screaming out, as Deku, he actually is going to somewhat pull out a concrete hand. And Deku does tell the man, he finds that metal, it cuts easier. Concrete weapons don't. Their blades aren't sharpened. Not the same way, at least. So, Deku will bring up his hand, and actually going to somewhat shapeshift it into something the man does see. Asking the man exactly what can he tell him. Where is that committee member? Now, the man does say a location in the base, and Deku, he immediately does go to somewhat squeeze a bit and pop, as he does go to drop the man and walk away. And right now Deku, he does walk through the base. He's hunched over. His wings, they are scratching against the surface, if not the top of the hallway. And right now Deku does go to shrink down. Him doing so as he does look around. Now, Deku's body is still made of metal. And right now, he's curious. Him actually rounding a corner and looking at somebody as he goes to bring up a weapon. Them staring to get Deku, as he try to ask him if he's been dealing with the intruders. And Deku does so going to smile, bring up his hand and making a finger gun. Him telling the man, as the man is staring at Deku confused before having it dawn in his mind. Bang. Now, the man tries to turn and run, the fingernail shooting directly into his right thigh and into his body. The man does scream out and hit the ground. And right now he actually goes to turn back and look directly at Deku. Him bring up his weapon and trying to fire. However, Deku, he does just walk forward with a smile. And the man does look directly at Deku. He is made of metal. And right now he's covered in blood. And right now Deku, his smile, it shows it. It's genuine. It's not the same way as that actor smile he's put on before on missions. Right now, he's having fun. And right now, he is doing what the Hero Association they wanted him to do. He's taking care of rogue heroes. He's taking care of the threat to Hero Society. Now, Deku does go to bring his hand down and grab onto this man. Him lifting him upwards into the air with one hand. And the guy does stare at Deku. And Deku does ask the man, where is his family? And the man does stare at Deku, trying to tell him that he can't say anything about that. He doesn't know. And Deku does stare at the man, him doubling in size, as one of the man does see Deku. His hand was wrapped around the front of his throat. But right now Deku, his entire hand, it's almost wrapping around his entire neck. And Deku just squeezed down a bit, telling the man he's not going to say he doesn't know. He must know something. Now, the man, yeah. Right now he does try to tell Deku he really doesn't know. And Deku, he does get annoyed at that. Him shouting at him to tell him names then. Tell him who's in charge of the Hero Committee. Tell him exactly what he wants to hear. Tell him who the hell they work for. Now, the man is to provide names. And right now Deku, he does hear one name in particular. As Deku, he knows that that name belongs to the chairman. And from what he can understand, the entire Hero Committee, they are involved in this. They regulate heroes. They they cover this shit up. But all of them, they're guilty. And Deku, he's someone to start to laugh. And another person, they are somewhat confused. As their action is over Deku, he does go to Deku, look down at the man before telling him he made a mistake. Now, there actually is currently Shinso and Ochako. The two are making their way down the corridor, and they haven't encountered any guards yet. I mean, all the guards, they were somewhere else in the base. They heard a massive gunfight, and they're assuming that that was Deku. Now, currently they do hear a loud thump on the ground, and the two do look in front of them. As right now they do see a trail of blood on the ground, and both of the two, they're somewhat concerned as to where that might lead. Now, Deku, he immediately does come walking around the corner, and the two do stare directly at him. As they do see that Deku, yeah, bloodbath, it's called a bloodbath for a reason. And right now, yeah, accurate. Now, the two do try to ask him what exactly did he do, and Deku does try to explain. He knows who did this to them. The entire committee is involved. It's not a small organization. It's the entire fucking Hero Council. The people who make the rules that heroes follow. Now, obviously, that does concern both Ochako and Shinsho. As Deku does also explain, he tried asking about families, but he didn't get an answer. The man outlived his usefulness. And now the two do go to just turn their heads to the right towards a stain on the ground. And Deku, he does just turn his head and look down towards that, expressing to them to not concern themselves with that. Now, there actually is Shinsho, who she does go step forwards and try to tell Deku that she can handle it. And right after looking down the hallway, she does see the stain. It just goes on. And it's kind of, Now, she does try to ask the question, where's the committee member? She wants to talk with him. And Deku just tell her, he's dead. He ripped him in half. Now, Ochako just started to get Deku. And right now, Shinsho just going to say that sucks. Because right now, she was hoping to see the man burn alive. Now, Ochako, she doesn't agree with that statement though. Right now, she does at least explain to Deku. They got into the armory and they rigged the place with explosives. So, they gotta get out of here now. Ochako holding up a switch. And right now the three, they do leave. As our Deku does turn into Man-Bat and take off into the air, the entire base is set up in flames. And right now the places start to burn to the ground. Now, the three do somewhat sit there for a minute, watching the fire. And Deku, he does simply just go to move his head up and feel the wind in his fur. Feel the wind on his body. He's used his power on missions. But right now it feels so much better. He can fly. He can be free. He can take revenge. Now, with that being said, the three would vanish into the night. And right now, there actually is the Hero Committee. They got no response from this building. They tried to contact people. They tried to get their men on the inside to answer them. But nothing happened. And eventually, whenever one full day of no contact happened, they tried to go to the place. See if it may have just been that radio communication may have been down. Maybe something was wrong with the generator. Maybe it was something like that. However, it wasn't that. Right now they find the entire base up in flames and in ruins. Some parts of the building are still burning. And right now, it does concern them. It does concern many of them. They're wondering about exactly if their project survived. But there's also another thought going through some of their minds. If they got out. And what that does mean. Right now their golden goose is out in the world. And it does alarm them. They thought he was totally loyal to them. But right now, they're trying to debate something. How many quirks did they give him again? How many was it? What was the ballpark again? Because many of them, they're concerned. Because right now, that boy, he's off the grid. He is most definitely off of the fucking grid. And finding him again, it's probably going to be impossible. Especially if he's out in the open and he does what he wants. If he starts to take power. If he takes... Oh god. If he gets into contact with pros. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.